2023 is going to be a huge year in terms of the prophetic, okay? We're going to see, Israel taking care of arranged nuclear facilities. Also, there is the prophecy of Isaiah 17.1. And then obviously we're going to have the Ezekiel War, the Great Northern War, And this is going to be all big time, folks. So perhaps, this big earthquake that just happened in Turkey, who knows? It could be a wake-up call from God, because don't forget that Turkey is going to be one of the nations that is coming against Israel in a coalition, for this Ezekiel War. So, perhaps this, earthquake, it's a sign from God, shaking up the Middle East. Hey, something bigger is coming. Who knows, but, it's probably a probability, and don't forget what Jesus told us in Matthew 24, verse 7 and 8, that, during this time in the end times in which we are now, that, we will see earthquakes in diverse places, pestilence, and so on, So, this is going to be a big year, folks, in the prophetic. So, it's, it's, I'm stuck for words, folks, like, I'm just kind of like, it's beyond shaking my head. I'm kind of like a stunned mallet. I'm like a statue. It's like, it's, it's, what's next, folks? It's, get ready, folks, because it's going to be jaw dropping, and think about how the world media is going to be dealing with this, with Damascus being a heap of ruins, with Iran being a heap of ruins. We just saw this earthquake in Turkey, and so this is going to be a lot worse and greater than that. So, the future of the Middle East doesn't look, any brighter. So, anyway, moving forward, I wanted to share the gospel with you guys, okay? You will find it in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1 to 4, how Jesus died on the cross, and that he was buried and rose again on the third day according to the scriptures, okay? You've got to believe this by faith, folks, because, as these end-time Bible prophecies, come to fruition, you've got to be ready, folks. You've got to be ready to go out at the Rapture of the church, I give this personally about 2 years, between now and the Rapture, okay? Now, what's going to be the Achilles heel for the church, if you like, is actually having to wait for Israel rebuilding the third temple, okay? Because Isaiah and Elam, that can be done on a dime, on a flyover on one night, okay? They can bombard, Damascus and Elam, okay? This can be done overnight. And the Ezekiel War is not going to take very long either, because this coalition that's coming down to the mountains of Israel is going to be huge, and God has to act quick and swift pretty much right away, because otherwise this could pose a huge threat to the people in Israel. So the Ezekiel War is not going to take long. In my view, I'll give it about a week, and to be generous too, but I don't think it's going to go on more than that. Think of Exodus, folks, when Moses was leading the Israeli people, and he had to open up the waters, and it didn't take very long, folks. And so, when God decides to act, it is quick and swift. God doesn't waste his time. God is going to show out how powerful he is, big time. So it's not going to take long, but now the Achilles heel, like I said, is going to be actually wanting for Israel to rebuild the third temple. Now, if you read the prophecies in Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2 and 3, and also in Micah chapter 4, verses 1 and 2, okay, it says that, Temple Mount, after the third temple is going to be rebuilt on Temple Mount, and that is going to be exalted, okay? Exalted tells you right away that the dome of the rock with its shiny dome cannot be there. And so, they're going to have to end up demolishing that, okay, the Dome of the Rock, and also the Alaska Mosque, in my view, in order that the third temple is exalted and it doesn't have any competition, okay? Now, you might agree or disagree, but to me, exalted God cannot have any competition up there on Temple Mount. So I don't know what you guys think of this, but that's my view. And so this is what's going to take a while, folks. The demolishing of the Alaska and the Dome of the Rock, and then having to rebuild the third temple. So it's going to take a little while, folks. But with more than that building technologies, this can be done pretty quick. So yeah. I'm not setting a date for the rapture of the church, but I think that perhaps in the early months of 2025, it's probably when it's going to happen. Now, you got to realize that the church age clock is ticking very fast. We just don't have any time left now. It's got to happen, folks. I don't think that there's going to be any more talks regarding Iran's, nuclear capabilities. America and Israel has already come out saying that they're not interested in any nuclear further talks with Iran. Perhaps maybe the Europeans, but you will have to think that at this late stage, in which Iran already has reached the 100% nuclear uranium threshold, that you will probably have to think that it's probably a little bit too late for any further nuclear talks, and so, Israel is going to have to take care of business of this Elam Bible prophecy, or in other words, Iran's nuclear capability. So time is running out, folks. There's only so much time that the church has left, to fulfill, the 5 Isaiah, Elam, Ezekiel, and so on. So time is running out, folks. Hosea said in Hosea chapter 6 verse 2, after 2 days I will raise thee. So if you take that into account, I think that these nuclear talks are pretty much over. I wonder what you guys think. And this is the year to act. Like this commander from the Israeli Navy has said, this is the year to act, to fulfill Bible prophecy. And everything that is happening right now in the geopolitical is happening in order that the Bible prophecy might be fulfilled. Do you honestly think that the Antichrist, it's out there working, with the disobedient around the world? Do you think that he's wasting his time right now? No. The Antichrist's main purpose right now is to, get these Bible prophecies out of the way so that he can rule for the next 7 years. And so, things have to start moving along now, this year, like this Israeli naval commander has said, fulfilling the prophecy of Elam. So, and like I just told you, the church age is, the clock is ticking, like the clock is saying, we are here, folks. So anyway, or just one more thing. I don't mean to be nitpicky, but some people think that we are having World War III because they see Russia, versus the Ukraine. They see that as Russia versus NATO, okay? And because they see this as Russia versus NATO, they're thinking that right now we're having World War III. No, that's not the case. It's not like it's Russia versus, all the NATO partners like Italy, France, Germany, Poland, and so on, Obviously, these countries are supplying, weapons to the Ukrainians, including Australia. Australia is not part of NATO. Australia is not part of the North Atlantic Treaty, okay? But we are supplying weapons to them. So it's not World War III, folks. It's just Russia versus the Ukraine, but NATO partners and other allies supplying weapons to the Ukrainians. Okay. What we're seeing now is Russia getting weaker and weaker. The longer this war with the Ukraine progresses, because they're depleting their weapons, and this is going to weaken them when they come down for the second war. So in a way, this is a good thing anyway. So but we are not in World War III. Like I said on my previous video, I believe that World War III is going to happen during the trip when you tie in the red horse together with what Jesus said in Matthew 24, in other words, the Olivet Discourse, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, during the trip, because otherwise, Jesus has prophesied World War III during the trip. Otherwise, if we have World War III now, okay, what's going to happen during the trip? Like, are we going to have, World War IV or something like that? It just doesn't make, like logical sense. Obviously we are seeing things brewing up now, okay, but Jesus, did prophesy for the tribulation period. So I think that's what's going to happen, folks. That's about it. Do videos, share the gospel. It's very important that people believe in Jesus, because Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life." And if you don't believe in Jesus, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And so people need two things in order to be saved. They need knowledge of the Bible, okay, and they need to come with this, to gather this knowledge from the Bible without being arrogant or very prideful. Because if people are prideful, okay, they think that they can save themselves, and they don't believe in Jesus, or they are atheists, if you like. This is gonna cost them, their life in hell, and hell does exist. So it's important for people to, drop their pride, okay? Believe in Jesus, He's the only way to heaven, and start studying the Bible, to you guys out there on YouTube, share the gospel. All we can do is our best, and warn people that hell does exist for those that don't accept Jesus as the way, okay? Like He said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life," okay? So very important that you believe in the gospel of salvation, believe what Jesus did at the cross, and get saved, folk, because this 2023 it's gonna go down as a big year, and we're gonna see big time Bible prophecies. And then, after the third temple, we are out of here. We don't have long to go, folks,